So we're here on the show. I've been having a great conversation with all of you, including James now. So I like to end the show here with one last piece of advice. So there's a lot of solo musicians out there who might be tuning in, loving what they're seeing. And if you want to give them some advice, let's hear it. You guys are all getting red over here. So we'll start with Dory. So Dory, right at the end there, why don't you give us one last piece of advice you'd give a starting out solo musician?
I would say just keep working at it and just say that it's definitely it seems like, oh, I'm a solo musician and it's all me and I'm a one-man crew, and it really isn't. Being a solo musician is nothing if you don't have connections, if you don't have mentors, if you don't have people teaching you tips and tricks on the guitar or helping you book a show
or any instrument.
Or any instrument. Yes, thank you. So really just tap into that and build on your relationships, because that's what makes being a solo artist
Yeah, that's so true. I mean, I've been playing music for well over 10 years now, and every person I've ever met, I remember, or at least half remember.
Yep.
You remember their face, maybe not what they did or whatever, but, you know. Mm-hmm. I'm showing all my cards, guys. I'm sorry. But, so, you know, I mean, but when you remember people, that's what this show has always been for me, is like remembering those people I've worked with in the past who I've been like, well, let's all talk again about this. So it's we talk about doing it yourself, but it's really doing it together, you know? So, James, you're fresh on the couch. You've been watching in the wings. What would you say is a good piece of advice besides the great piece of advice you just dropped on us?
I think the main one I could say is do as much as you possibly can as early as possible. For the reason that if you, I mean, when I started off, I think the first about 4 years I was making music, it was garbage. Yeah. Horrendous. It was terrible.
Is it different now?
Well, it's ever so slightly.
Okay.
Actually, no. But a larger portion of people, don't.
I haven't seen you in a while.
Yes. Well, I know. I think you were probably still if you start off playing shows and your only expectation of yourself at the early stages, I made a song and I'm like then it's, get that out of the way early, because I think people who play a lot in their bedroom and then try and break out later on, start playing shows, they struggle because they're so overcritical. You know, when I first started playing, I was just so excited I could play and sing at the same time. I was so proud of myself, and thank God I got that out of the way when I was 19, because now, you know, I would never leave my house.
And I think what you're saying too is, you know, I was bringing up stand-up earlier, so you could play a couple shows a night, but I also think try bits on stage. You know, like, I wrote a new version for the chorus of this song. Try that on stage. You know, experiment. Don't be afraid. Don't be too critical and lock yourself in this practice bubble. I've seen that with bands where you spend too much in the garage or the basement or wherever your practice space is, and you're not allowing yourself a chance to fail. You know, and so I think that's real important. Noah, I bet you got something good, man.
Thanks. I mean, you know, these are both great pieces of advice. I agree with both these things. I want to echo them. The only thing I have to add, really, as far as advice for solo acts specifically, is don't murder anybody.
I can see
under any circumstance. Or?
It hurts your career, you know. But
are there any famous musician? Well, there's Charles Manson, I guess. He was in a band, right?
Quite famous.
He was a solo artist.
Yeah, solo artist.
Yeah. No, there's a ton of musicians who murdered people. Is that what you're gonna say?
Yeah, I was kind of guessing. Yeah, that's another episode of the show.
Are you familiar with gangster rap? It's a genre based on murdering people.
That's fair. That is, yeah, for the most part.
Sometimes they kill them.
There you go.
Killer hype men.
Die men.
Die man. There you go. That's what, you know, we need a die man on this show. Okay, Josh, can we make that happen? We get a murder man.
Sacrificial lamb.
I heard they're forever once you get them.
Yeah, they're definitely forever.
Go ahead.
Death is permanent.
No,
Dan,
diamonds are forever.
Death is permanent. Dan, how about you? One last piece of advice.
Just be yourself.
There it is. Do you, right?
Yeah.
Do you.
Pick your right path, man.
Pick your right path. Carbia, you got anything you got to say? Any questions you want to ask these homies?
As long as I'm keeping this brief here,
Yeah.
I mean, let's see here. My mic can wander, but here goes nothing. Let's see. Like, no matter what you set your mind to, I mean, not just music, but just any other field, like whether it's martial arts or acting. I don't know. As Cameron mentioned earlier, I don't know. Just surround yourself with the right folks, the right connections, and of course, your true art will flourish, and then
Very
some.
cool. Yeah. That's awesome, Carbia. Thank you, buddy. Yeah,
And research often.
And research often. That's true. Carbia is literally an encyclopedia. And I swear to God, he knows more than I will ever know. And I think that makes him more powerful than me. And I think one day Carbia will usurp me as the host of this show.